So let's talk about the UKIP surge, which is getting mainstream reporting now because it's fucking happening, lads. We're doing this. We are going over the fucking top. Thousands of disgruntled Tory Brexit voters have joined UKIP since Theresa May's Crunch Checkers Summit party insiders claim. Well, I've spoken to many party insiders, including Batten himself, and yes, they have got a massive fucking backlog. So if you've paid your money to apply to join the party and you're still waiting, you're probably going to have to keep waiting, I'm afraid, because he said to me the other day, I met him the other day at the Free Tommy March, and he was like, it was the secretary who said it, but apparently the volunteers who process these applications are actually really angry with us because we've brought loads of attention to the party and they've just got to wait. I'm so sorry to the people who are processing all of this, but thousands of people have now joined, and the question is really, why haven't you joined? Come on, you apes, you want to live forever? Officials last night confirmed they'd processed 2,500 new members in the last week, with sources boasting over 4,000 applications that have been made since the PM's soft Brexit plans were published. Woo! But to be fair, let's get this on. I honestly, I feel really comfortable in UKIP these days. I'd never even thought about it. You know, I hadn't even thought about it, but I actually feel really comfortable in UKIP. It really is like the regular person's party. The party of the people who are just like, no, we have to get involved in politics and we're sick of this shit. We're not going to go for the Conservatives. We're not going to go for Labour. They're both complete sellouts and hate our country. So we're going to go for UKIP because we're the people who actually give a shit about the country and the people in it. The boost in membership would reflect the polling boost of the Eurosceptic Party, who rose 5 points from 3 to 8% in polling since the civil war broke out in the Tory Party. That's in a week. In a week, UKIP have gone up 5% in the fucking polls to 8%. We're just going to keep rising. We've got the YouTubers on board, we've got you guys on board, we've got the activists on board, we've got the people who are just pissed off on board, and the Conservatives are busy fucking up. This is the purple wave, my friends, and service guarantees citizenship. The struggling party had been on the brink of bankruptcy all year, but insiders claim a surge in numbers has seen party membership grow by more than 20% in just 2 weeks. In April, the party claimed to have 20,000 members, but is said to have plummeted since local elections wipe out in May and a drying up of big donations to the party. Yeah, we turned that around, didn't we? Gerard Batten said, the Conservatives fooled the public into believing they had the will to carry out Brexit, but this dishonesty will never work again. That's true. I was fooled. As Thunderfoot kept going on, my god, he thought that May could deliver Brexit. Well, at the time, it really looked like she could. Now, we know that she can't. In hindsight, I guess everyone has 2020 vision. The MEP accused Mrs May's party of having a meltdown after it was revealed last weekend by Opinium Research that they're now 4 points behind Labour and UKIP have surged upwards to 8% of the polls. He added, these are desperate times for our weak Prime Minister. No doubt whatsoever. And the thing is, Theresa May knows it, which is why she has addressed UKIP and Brexiteers, asking them to choose their head over their hearts as they switch their support to UKIP. The thing is, Theresa, we are choosing our heads. This has to be done. You cannot be trusted. You are useless. You have sold out to Labour and the Europhiles. You have to be stopped. Theresa May has urged Eurosceptics to let the head rule the heart even if it means compromising, as a new poll suggests Tory voters are switching to UKIP. Yeah, we're all for compromise, Theresa, but we're not for bending over and letting the EU shaft us. I don't know whether you know this, but when you're going into negotiation, you have to put on a display of strength, and you don't seem to be capable of doing that. They have to understand that they can't just fuck us. I mean, please understand that you are letting them fuck us. In an interview on Sunday, the Prime Minister appeared to admit she is not giving the Brexiteers what they voted for. She acknowledged that millions of people voted from the heart to leave the European Union for Brexit, but said she has to be hard-headed and practical in the way she sees it through. No, you're fucking it up. So if we're going to find something that is in Britain's interests, that delivered on the referendum that was negotiable, we had to make a compromise. Yep, not until you get something from them, Theresa. What have you got from the European Union? On what have they compromised? The answer is fuck all. Support for the Conservatives has fallen by 6 points since early June, with UKIP reaping the gains. Support for UKIP by 5 points to 8% over the same period, according to the poll. Today, Mogg was accused May of being a Remainer who has remained a Remainer, which is true. She's like a bleeding wound in your party, and you are hemorrhaging support, and it's coming to us. And people will say, well, you're splitting the Tory vote, Labour are going to get in. Honestly, do you think at this point that Theresa May hasn't handed the next election to Labour? I mean, it's a good few years off, so a lot can change. But from what it's just so you know, if something comes up that I couldn't foresee, then I might have to change my opinion if that's okay with certain people. But but from what we have now, it looks like Theresa May is weak and getting weaker and making things worse, not better. And so it looks like at the end of the day, we're going to get a Jeremy Corbyn government whether we like it or not. So we're going to have to resign ourselves to 5 years of Jeremy Corbyn fucking things up. But don't worry, when we get things sorted out, we're going to come in like a fucking thunderstorm. We're going to be like rolling fucking lightning repealing all this shit when we get our chance. Because as James Delingpole writes for The Spectator, UKIP is on the verge of a spectacular comeback, and it's all thanks to Theresa May. Well, come on, let's have a bit of credit for the other people, the little guys. But no, seriously, this is a great article. Paul Joseph Watson, Count Dankula and Sargon of Akkad have joined UKIP. Let that sink in. This is an in-joke which you'll only appreciate if you've pretty much given up on the mainstream media and you prefer to fight all of your culture war battles online. Because unusually, I happen to straddle both worlds, and it's an age and job thing, and allow me to explain who these people are and why their support of UKIP suggests it might be on the verge of a major comeback. Watson is a brilliant polemicist. His day job is to work for Alex Jones, the crazy host of America's InfoWars, whose funny, angry, disgusted daily rants delivered with his trademark northern accents to snark in front of his map of the world backdrop with his catchphrase, "Let that sink in," and imagine my shock, have lured in 1.3 million subscribers to his YouTube channel. You won't see him on mainstream TV or in newspapers because he won't go there. He sees the legacy media as his enemy. Count Dankula, Mark Meechan, 30, is the bearded internet shitposter from Glasgow, best known for the Nazi pug video he made to annoy his girlfriend. Again, not calling him a Nazi, it's a joke. It's purported to show Pug giving Nazi salutes, blah blah. After being prosecuted by the Scottish police, because that's the country we fucking live in, he was fined £800 by the courts. For a long worrying period, it looked like he might have to face jail for a bad taste joke for posting grossly offensive material. In real life, he is mild-mannered, amiable, and not at all anti-Semitic, of course. Sargon of the Akkad is the pseudonym of the vlogger Carl Benjamin, whose lengthy, patient, reasoned YouTube commentaries have garnered more than 800,000 subscribers. He's like a more erudite and polite, long-distance version of Watson. That's very polite. His targets are much the same: identity politics, social justice warriors, and third-wave feminism. He rose to prominence during Gamergate, a revolution in which ordinary video gamers fought back against the attempted takeover of their hobby by politically correct commissars and crybullies. Unbelievably accurate assessment from James there. That's spot on. None of them is remotely alt-right, correct, but this hasn't stopped their enemies on the left trying to tar them with that brush. It's how they were billed in a Mirror story headlined, "Meet the new face of UKIP, the free speech extremists who could make UKIP dangerous again." Oh yeah, we are. UKIP's going to become a very dangerous political force for the Conservatives and Labour. And probably the Lib Dems, actually. One of the UKIP liberalists group on Facebook that the liberalists who are joining UKIP are using, people keep posting pictures of their old party card cut up with the new UKIP card, and it's great seeing like Lib Dem, Labour and Conservative people posting in there. This is just like, no, we've got to make our country great again. There's no getting around it. The other parties, this kind of extreme partisanship is over. It's time for a centrist UKIP party to come together and actually do the things that we all agree that have to be done for the United Kingdom. That's what I think needs to happen. But this is because the alt-right, in fact a tiny minority movement with no relevance except as a bugbear. Yeah, I mean, if the mainstream media didn't bring the alt-right up, no one would talk about them. And that's upsetting for members of the alt-right. They don't like that. They like that they are used as a boogeyman. But if you stop talking about them, they disappear from relevance. But they've become the left's preferred euphemism for fascist, Nazi, and people we can safely dismiss without taking the trouble to listen to what they're saying. In fact, Watson, Meechan and Benjamin and their ilk are saying is eminently reasonable, well thought through, logical and compelling. Their main beef is that free speech, the bedrock of any advanced liberal democracy, is under threat. Which is true. And none of the three biggest parties are doing the damnedest to preserve it. Why did I join UKIP? Because the only major political party that supports free speech declared Watson in one of his videos. And unlike an odd piece I read the other day which averred that free speech was a non-issue of interest only to grade A chocolate-coated plonkers, why would anyone else need free speech? Watson supported his case with a few facts. People such as Lauren Southern banned from the country for having the wrong opinions, people convicted for jokes, Meechan himself, thousands of people being arrested for mean tweets while actual violent crime soars across the country. Thanks, little king. What I love about Watson is he tells it exactly as you see it. There's none of that mealy-mouthedness that you find among the older generation of journalists who have spent their years having to temper their polemic in order to not sound too extreme. Watson, like many of his peers, has never had to do a proper job, so he is untainted and untrammeled and takes no prisoners. I got a comment like that on my Facebook page the other day. Someone's just like, someone's taking no prisoners at the moment, and I love it. And it's like, yeah, I'm not taking any fucking prisoners. They're wrong, we're right, and that's the end of the fucking conversation. Anything, I mean, like, there is a reason that I could spend an hour with a BBC journalist and an MEP, a Labour MEP, and a bunch of professional activists, and nail them all on every issue without even breaking a fucking sweat. There is a reason I could do that, and they couldn't fucking... They just had to wander off and pretend that they hadn't lost horribly. Like, they don't know what they're fucking talking about, and they're wrong. They're just not correct. They can't support their position. It's untenable. But I'll tell you what, right, this whole article was such a lovely thing to read, because he's just talking about us how, I guess, we probably see ourselves. I mean, we like to think of ourselves in the way that James has described us here, but we hear so many bad things about us from the left-wing media that, honestly, you start thinking, oh, shit, man. You know, maybe you do start doubting yourself. But you realise that, like, like, we're not anything like they claim we are, and we know we're not, and it's so weird to hear it being said that we're not, because normally the media says that we are. So thank you to James, and join UKIP.